So, are you enjoying this Bitcoin price action? Take a look at this. We've been just hovering above $107,000 for the past 24 hours, and over the past few days, we've literally been bouncing between 106 to 108K. We're seeing a lot of compression for Bitcoin. Now, the good news is that usually what this means is a big move is about to happen. We'll have to see what exactly that move will be, but right now we are still within the same channel. Now, I'm going to cut it very quick in today's video talking about the charts because nothing has really changed. We continue to chop around in this summer range, and as I've been saying on the channel, I still think that this is more than likely to continue. Now, on the lower time frames, we really can see this compressed volatility. Look at this. Chop, 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 chop. Now the question is, are we going to break to the upside or are we going to have an aggressive move down? If you're in my community, you know exactly what trade I'm partaking in. Again, that is the first link in my description down below if you want to join. But ultimately, if you haven't entered any kind of Bitcoin position here, I wouldn't be super aggressive with your trades. Even in the current trade that I'm in, I am not being aggressive because right now, this is some very annoying price action. Look, if I zoom out here and just show you the Bitcoin chart, we cannot ignore the fact that we are currently printing lower highs and lower lows. Take a look at this on the daily time frame. So we set Bitcoin's all-time high, then we came down all the way to $100,000, then we got another pump back towards this liquidity zone, 110K, then we came back down once again below $100,000, and right here it does appear like we're stalling out. Now, I wouldn't put it past Bitcoin to try and grab some of this liquidity to the upside as we saw some more shorts pile into the market. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know that right now, both shorts and longs are relatively even. But over the past week, with this most recent Bitcoin pump from below $100,000, it is very obvious that a lot more people started to go long. On the left here, we have around $10 billion worth of cumulative long liquidation leverage. And on the right here, we have about $5 billion worth of cumulative short liquidation leverage. This just means that a lot more people did go long this week. And I mean, this usually happens when we get these kinds of pumps. In my community, we talked about longing Bitcoin right around this level, and we really did catch an excellent trade. And right now, I do think that there is still the opportunity for us to potentially roll over before moving higher. Ultimately, though, we are still just within this range, and I wouldn't be expecting anything exciting for Bitcoin. Now, taking a look at Bitcoin dominance, I wanted to bring this up because, as you can see right now, the weekly candle is red. Now, the reason being is because as Bitcoin continues to hold within this same range, it does give a little bit of breathing room for altcoins. Now, preferably, you would want Bitcoin to consolidate above its all-time high to really have altcoins start popping off left, right, and center, and that is when Bitcoin dominance can get a little bit of a more aggressive drop. But because we're consolidating right around $107,000, ultimately, yes, altcoins on the lower time frames are outperforming Bitcoin, but not that much. And we can still look at the bigger trend here. It is very much up, an explosive move for Bitcoin dominance over the past few years. And as I said, we were going to hit 66% dominance. We did in fact touch this level, getting a slight rejection on the weekly time frame. But I do think with Bitcoin's next move, whether it breaks up or down, Bitcoin dominance will find its way back into this range as we've been discussing on the channel. Now, the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin, you can see that we are still struggling right around the bull market support band and below the monthly open. We want to see this hopefully break above and then hold it as support, but during the summer range, I'm not expecting anything magnificent for this metric. This cycle, we didn't even manage to make an all-time high for the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. You can see November of 2021, we made it all the way up to $1.7 trillion, and right below this cycle, we made it only up to $1.65 trillion, despite the fact that Bitcoin, for the first time in history this cycle, made it to six figures. Now, in today's quick video, I also wanted to touch on some more recent news. President Trump came out and said that he officially signed a trade deal with China, although it is yet to be confirmed. And we also have President Trump coming out and, of course, making fun of Jerome Powell once again. Let's hear what he has to say because he is really angry with the Fed.
He was on CNBC talking about how he suggested Powell should resign. Any comments on whether or not Powell should step down? I know you've been pretty critical.
I don't have a comment. I'd love him to resign if he wanted to. He's done a lousy job. Look, if you were there, you'd say, well, you know, the United States is doing well. They have no inflation. And if they do get inflation in a year or two, we'll start raising the rates. We'll get rid of the inflation, you know, and do other things. Biden had the worst inflation in the history of our country. 19%, but I think it was much higher than that. Frankly, they say 19%. I think it's a lot higher than that. And we have almost no inflation now. We've done a great job in a short period of time. Energy prices are way down. Gasoline now is down to close to $2 in a lot of places. A couple of places I see it even broke. It's like $1.98 a gallon. We've done a great job on inflation and honestly, pretty much everything else. I think it's very sad the way people act. You know, you have a guy in there that with the stroke of a pen could lower interest rates and save us hundreds of billions of dollars a year. But he's a stupid person. You know...
And the insults continue. I'm not sure what you think. Leave your comments down below if you think that the US should be cutting rates at this point in time. Or do you think that we should still be concerned about inflation? Now, the thing that you need to consider here is that PCE inflation, which is the Fed's preferred inflation measure, actually rose to 2.3%, which was in line with expectations of 2.3%. However, the core PCE inflation did indeed also rise to 2.7%, above the expectations of 2.6%. And so I just think that the Fed is currently being cautious with inflation potentially coming back. And so because of this, the Fed pause will continue. And in the meantime, while everyone in crypto certainly wants rate cuts for more favorable conditions for altcoins in particular, we can see that it looks like rates will be staying exactly the same in July. We have this 81.4% chance that nothing will change. However, if we check September, the odds are much more in our favor at around a 75% chance that we do get those rate cuts. So let's see what happens. Right now, a lot of people in crypto are just begging for those rate cuts and looser monetary policy. But do you really think that Jerome Powell is worried about your altcoins? I don't think so. He has one last year in his term at the Fed, and I'm sure he's just doing his best to not be remembered as the guy that let inflation take over. And as the Fed pause continues, we can see that there is still no retail here. Take a look at these search terms, crypto and Bitcoin all-time worldwide. We can see that we continue to trickle on lower. No one is paying attention to this industry outside of people like you that watch my YouTube channel, for example, and of course, the big institutions. Speaking of the big institutions, we can see that the net inflows for the Bitcoin spot ETFs just continue to increase. 500 million, 200 million, 500 million, 600 million, and so on and so forth. There has not been a single red day since basically the beginning of June. So keep this into account. Institutions continue to accumulate Bitcoin. Same thing for Ethereum. There's hardly any red days here. Now, the social risk also tells us the exact same scenario. What you can see here is that this measures, as I've discussed on the channel before, the overall attention in terms of social media in the crypto space. How many followers do influencers gain? How about the social interactions in terms of the exchanges, layer ones? Everything that pertains to crypto and social attention is calculated on this chart. And what we can see here, if I zoom in, we are literally at zero. No one is here. And the reason why I want to show you this chart is because when we're really euphoric in terms of the social risk, that is typically when we get that real altcoin season on our way up right before. When this starts pumping aggressively, I will make sure to keep you updated on the channel because that is when altcoins will really start to outperform. And although over the past few months I have been talking pretty negatively about altcoins, especially with my Bitcoin dominance view, I do think there will be an opportune moment to accumulate altcoins sometime this summer, and I will of course let you know when that is. But for now, as I said, there's literally no one paying attention to crypto at the moment across social media platforms. And this is also why it makes it very difficult for someone like myself to go ahead and try to grow a YouTube channel in this space. But as you know, I try my best to publish every single day. If you want to know how I'm navigating this market, make sure to click the first link in my description down below, which brings you to my free Telegram community. And in there, you'll also be able to see that I do have a free signals group telling you which trades I'm executing on. And I also have some analysts that are posting trades regularly. Also, if you want to trade crypto, we have the two links in my description down below. We have both Bluffin, which you can see you get a ton of crazy rewards if you're a whale trader or even if you are just a regular trader, thousands of dollars to be claimed. And also for weeks, if you sign up with the third link in my description down below, you get 25% off all of your trading fees, and you get automatic VIP2. Make sure to sign up because these offers won't be around for long. And you might be wondering, why am I promoting 2 exchanges? Well, ultimately, I like to spread my funds out across multiple exchanges because we know what happened with FTX. It's always wise to spread out your funds. Now, back to the Bitcoin chart. I mean, what can I say? We are forming those lower lows and lower highs. And so, are we going to break this pattern? Is Bitcoin going to go ahead and move higher here to grab some liquidity? Or are we ultimately just going to end up rolling back down? Let's see what happens. As always, I will make sure to be the first to update you when there's a shift in the market. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That sums up today's quick video. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.